Ever felt like you're just lost in the cloud? Yeah, you're not alone. Today, we're going to cut through all that confusion. We're going to build a simple, powerful blueprint for organizing Microsoft Azure using one easy-to-remember analogy. Let's get started. Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to build our cloud headquarters right from the ground up. First, we'll lay the foundation. Then, we'll start building the floors and setting up the rooms. After that, we'll hook up the master key system. And finally, we'll step back and check out our completed blueprint.
All right, Section 1, the cloud headquarters. You know, every solid building needs a rock-solid foundation, right? Well, the cloud is exactly the same.
You know that feeling, right? You stare at a new cloud environment, and it just feels like total chaos. It's like being dropped into a huge city with no map. It's a super common problem, but believe it or not, the starting point is actually pretty simple.
So, instead of thinking about a sprawling, chaotic city, let's just change our perspective. From now on, we're just building one single, well-organized office building. Seriously, this one idea is going to unlock everything else for us. Let's pour the concrete. In the world of Azure, the building itself is your Microsoft Entra tenant. Now, you might hear people call it a directory. Don't worry, it's the exact same thing. This is the absolute outer wall, your main security perimeter. Every single person who works for your company, every app, every identity, they all live inside this one secure building.
Okay, our foundation is solid. The building is secure. Now it's time to start adding some structure inside. It's time to build our floors.
So what are the floors in our headquarters? Well, those are your Azure subscriptions. And the most important thing to remember here is that a subscription is basically a billing container. It's like giving the entire third floor to the engineering department and the fourth floor to marketing. This way you can easily track who's spending what and even put limits on their budgets.
And here's the really cool part. Your building can be a skyscraper. You can have as many floors as you need. Your one secure Entra tenant, your building, can hold a totally unlimited number of subscriptions. So you can have separate floors for production, development, R&D, you name it.
So, we've got our building, we've got our floors, but what's actually on those floors? Now we need to zoom in and get even more granular. We need to start organizing the rooms. And this brings us to the final piece of the organizational puzzle, the rooms. In Azure, we call these resource groups. So if the subscription is the entire floor for the engineering team, a resource group is a specific project room on that floor. It's where they keep all the gear for one application, the servers, the databases, the networking, all of it. And this is so important for what we call lifecycle management, because when the project's over, you just delete the room, and everything inside it is gone. Clean and simple.
Okay, building? Check. Floors? Check. Rooms? Check. But how do we control who gets into which room? This brings us to maybe the most important part of this whole blueprint, the security system that connects everything.
This right here, this is the most critical concept to get right. You have to understand this split. Your tenant, remember, that's the building, is all about identity. It's the front desk security guard checking your ID, figuring out who you are. But the subscriptions and resource groups, the floors and rooms, that's the management side. That controls what you're allowed to touch once you're inside. And hey, don't just take my word for it. This quote from the official documentation absolutely nails it. Your tech, your servers and databases, they live in the rooms. But the master list of who has the keys to those rooms, that's always managed at the front desk, at the tenant level. Your identity always determines your access. So it all flows from the top down, just like real security. First, you got to get past the main building security. That's your tenant. Then, your key card has to work for the right floor. That's your subscription. And finally, you need the actual key to unlock that one specific room. That's your resource group.
And this is the golden rule that locks it all together. It's non-negotiable. A subscription, our floor, can only trust one security system. You can't have the locks keyed for two different buildings, right? It's the same here. This mandatory one-to-one trust relationship is what makes the whole security model so strong. All right, let's take a step back and look at what we've built. It's time to review the final blueprint for our perfectly organized Azure headquarters.
And here it is, the whole shebang. The building is your Entra tenant, handling all your identity and security. The floors are your subscriptions, managing all the billing and resource limits. The rooms are your resource groups, taking care of the lifecycle for all your apps. And the key system that locks it all down is that crucial trust relationship.
Look, if you remember just one thing from all of this, please make it this.
You have to understand that who you are is managed completely separately from what you can do. Getting your head around this separation between the tenant and subscriptions is the absolute first step to building a cloud environment that's secure, scalable, and easy to manage.
So there you have it. You now have the architectural plan for a clean, secure, and organized Azure environment. The only question left is, what are you going to build?